Kling 3.0 is probably the most talked about AI video model right now. A lot of people are calling it the best video model available, and for a good reason. It can generate longer videos with multiple shots, does a much better job at keeping characters, objects, and scenes consistent, has improved audio integration with multi-character dialogue, and introduces native-level text output that helps preserve the text from the original images. I've been testing it for about 2 weeks, and in this video I'll walk you through what actually these new features do in practice, how to use them properly, and where the model still struggles. I will also help you understand the difference between Kling 3.0 and 3.0 Omni, and where Omni makes more sense to use. They are both built on the same foundational model, but Omni adds extra functionality, especially around elements and consistency. So depending on what you're trying to create, choosing the right model can make a difference. Let's get into it. So, the first upgrade is the ability to generate 15-second videos. This helps you build more complex scenes and actually tell a story instead of stitching together fragments. You can generate a single continuous shot or a multi-shot sequence with different camera angles and compositions. Now, let's actually use Kling 3.0 and generate a few videos. Make sure you click on Generate and select Video 3.0. For the first test, I'm checking how text-to-video performs with a single continuous shot. So for that, disable the multi-shot toggle, paste your prompt, and choose the resolution, aspect ratio, and duration. One thing I really like here is that Kling lets you set a flexible video length, anywhere from 3 to 15 seconds. So if you don't need a long clip, you're not forced to generate one and waste credits. Also, with other models like Veo 3 for example, which is locked at 8 seconds, you often get unnecessary pauses and awkward movement just to fill in the time.
What's your biggest life skill?
Life skill. Breathing, of course.
So, this flexibility in duration is actually a very smart move from Kling. Okay, so my first video is a single continuous side profile tracking shot inside the busy night market. As you can see, the model did a pretty good job on the first try. It followed the prompt closely, the main subject stayed consistent throughout the clip, and the movement is natural. There is still some distortion in the background, but considering how busy the scene is, that's somewhat expected. Here's another example where I used an image as the start frame. As you can see, the scene is less busy, the movement is steady, and the model holds the subject very well. You can also notice small details from the prompt, like the light wind moving the woman's dress, or the subtle handheld camera shake. By the way, Kling has official user guides for Kling 3.0 and 3.0 Omni, and I will link them below so you can go through them and understand the best practices of using these models from their side. Fall AI also has a very solid Kling 3.0 prompting guide that helps you understand how the model thinks, so I'll link that as well. Next, let's test the multi-shot feature. There are two ways to use it: automatic and custom. If you enable now the multi-shot toggle and give it a prompt, the model will automatically plan the shots, transitions, and camera angles for you. And even in this automatic mode, you can still guide it in plain text by specifying the shot number and what you want to happen in each shot. The model will usually follow the structure, but it still decides the timing and camera choices. If you want full control, enable custom multi-shot. This lets you define specific details and set the duration for each shot. You can create up to 6 shots in a single video. Now, this part is very important. The duration has to match the action. If you describe a longer action but don't give it much time, the result will feel rushed. If you give it too much time, on the other hand, the model might hallucinate.
This feels like a very reasonable place to test AI. If this breaks, I'm blaming the height. Different angle, same person, still sitting here. If this looks stable, we're doing great.
In this example, I gave one of the shots too much time, and the character says different angle before the camera shifts.
I'm blaming the height. Different angle, same person.
So timing really matters here. Okay, so let's get back and see how multi-shot and custom multi-shot behave with the same instructions. In this example, I have 4 actions. A young man staring at the ceiling for a moment, moving to the edge of the bed and rubbing his face, picking up the phone, and looking at the screen as his expression changes. For the first video, I gave it a single prompt and let the model handle the shot planning automatically. For the second one, I split the same actions into 4 clearly defined shots and control the duration of each. Here are the results. Both results are pretty good, and in this specific example there is no much difference. But you can notice that in custom multi-shot version, the camera changes position and framing more clearly between the actions. Here is another more dynamic example where in auto mode I specified each shot and how I want it to look, and then I used the same instructions in custom multi-shot. As you can see, the results are pretty similar. The main difference, again, is how precisely the timing and framing are handled. So, if you don't really care about specifying camera angles, timing, and transitions, leaving it on auto is perfectly fine. But if you are particular about camera, timing, framing, actions, or dialogue, then custom multi-shot gives you much more control. And now let me show you 2 more examples using a start frame this time. For both examples, I uploaded a side view image and then specified the shots.
It doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, I guess we picked the right place to wait.
The right place, with the right person.
You said you would be there.
I told you I tried.
You didn't even call me.
Because you never listen.
Even though the model had only one angle to work with, it did a pretty good job at keeping both characters consistent as the camera changed positions. The faces stay recognizable, and the scene holds together without a major drift. You can still clearly see the parts that Kling had to generate, but overall the consistency is solid. And while this is good, Kling can do a much better job at keeping characters and objects consistent. And here is where Kling 3.0 Omni comes in. Omni lets you create what they call elements. That means you can define a character, an object, or even a scene and reuse it across multiple videos. Let's see how that works. Inside the Omni workspace, you will see a section called Elements. Kling already provides a library of preset elements that you can select in one click and use in your videos. These include characters, animals, items, costumes, scenes, and more. But you can also create your own element. Click on Create Element and you can upload either a front-facing image or a short video. One great addition in Kling 3.0 Omni is that you're not limited anymore to only images. You can also use a reference video, which gives the model much more information to work with. In this case, I'll upload a short video of myself. This is me, and this is how I look, and this is how I sound. When you're creating a character, you can also select a voice. If the uploaded clip already contains speech, you can clip and clone that original voice. You can also choose one of Kling's voice presets, and you can even upload a separate audio file. For example, something generated with 11 labs, and use that instead. Then give your character a name, optionally add a short description, select a category for it, and generate the element. Now, when you want to use your element, just select it and write your prompt. Inside the prompt, you can reference the element by typing @ and selecting it. I suggest referring to your elements consistently throughout the prompt, so the model clearly understands what object or character you're talking about. Let's now watch a few examples.
One of the biggest problems in AI video generation is keeping the character consistent. Not just how it looks, but also how it sounds. Kling AI solved this with their new Elements feature. It lets you preserve a character's look and voice across different videos. And it doesn't just work with characters. It also works with objects and even entire environments.
As you can see, it keeps my face pretty consistent from different angles. The voice, however, is not great. It sounds a bit metallic, it gave me a different accent, and overall it's not very close to my real voice. But at least it stays consistent across all the generated clips. Now let's test elements with a product. I uploaded this image of a sparkling drink can generated with Nano Banana and created an element from it following the steps I showed you before. Then I used that element in a few different video prompts. As you can see, the product holds up quite well and stays consistent across different shots and angles. There is some distortion, especially in the more dynamic videos where the camera moves faster. And the smaller text on the can doesn't hold up really well, it becomes unreadable. And just to be clear, Omni isn't only about elements. It also lets you transform videos. You can upload a clip, describe the changes that you want, like removing people or modifying a part of a scene, and it will do it. You can also combine multiple reference images in one video and much more. We're not covering all of that here because Omni deserves its own dedicated video. For now, we're just focusing on what's new. And since we already touched on the text generation, Kling claims that one of the upgrades in Video 3.0 is preserving textual details from original images. We already saw an example, so let's generate a couple more and see how it actually performs. We know that one issue with all video generators is flickering or distorted text. For all these examples, I used an image as the start frame. As mentioned before, Kling does a really good job at keeping the large text consistent. There are no visible flickers or major distortion. It still struggles with smaller fonts though, so that's definitely an area that needs improvement. And finally, let's test the multi-character dialogue. We already looked at a few examples with two people, but let's check a few more and push it further by adding characters. When prompting dialogue, it's very important to clearly specify who's speaking. If you're using elements, make sure to reference those elements directly in the prompt. And if you're using an image as the start frame or just text to video, then you need to clearly name the characters and structure the dialogue properly, like in this example here.
Do you think the ocean ever gets tired of moving?
I think it would feel weird if it stopped.
So it just keeps going? Forever?
Pretty much. Just like you asking questions.
I like that.
Yeah, me too.
I still think this was a bad idea.
It was your idea.
He said it would be legendary.
Legendary doesn't mean disastrous.
So this is all you have left?
It's 2 a.m.
To be fair, he did come here for sushi. It was worth a shot.
One thing I'm noticing in longer 15-second clips, whether there is one character speaking or several, is that lip sync starts drifting towards the end of the video. Take a look at this example.
Our life choices.
Relax. If it turns green, we're meant to continue. If not, we move here.
And this one.
If this looks stable, we're doing great.
For the first 10-12 seconds, the lip sync is great, but in the last few seconds it starts to go off. And this is actually happening quite a lot in videos I've generated. So, what do I think about Kling 3.0? Overall, it's a serious step forward. The 15-second generation, better consistency, multi-shot control, improved text handling, and native dialogue all make it one of the strongest AI video models right now. It's not perfect though. Dynamic movement can get distorted, lip sync can drift in longer clips, small text still struggles, and timing needs to be handled carefully. But when prompted properly, the results are pretty impressive. And if you just want to generate strong video clips, test ideas quickly, or build multi-shot scenes with good control, Kling 3.0 is great. But if you care about long-term consistency, reusable characters, products, or more advanced transformations, then Omni makes sense. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel and let me know what you want me to test next. I'll keep pushing it further.